Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have a NFL mock draft reaction, and it's Daniel Jeremiah. In my opinion, the best at the NFL mock drafts, the best drafts analyst in general. I'll give it to him. Yeah, for NBA, I'll lean to Jonathan Givony, maybe Kevin O'Connor at times, but in the NFL, it's DJ, it's Daniel Jeremiah. But it's his second mock draft, and 4 quarterbacks taken in the first 8 picks. Williams, Daniels, May, McCarthy, Nix, Penix, probably not Penix, but McCarthy or Nix, or yeah, McCarthy or Nix would be the last. Really, one of those guys would be the last one. But damn. But yeah, with the first overall pick, we have Caleb Williams. Oh, I spoiled the second one, but yeah. First overall is Caleb Williams to the Chicago Bears. Whether it should happen or whether we want it to happen, it's gonna happen. It's just contractually wise, makes sense. Even player wise, at this point, is Caleb Williams the better player than Justin Fields? Maybe. I mean, that might be a little bit of a long shot, but you never know. So I would go. I think at this point, Caleb Williams probably is the right pick. But for the pick, I think I'll give it a B plus. You know, should it happen? Probably not. I think they should stick with Justin Fields. But with all things considered, it's the right pick. So it's getting a B plus. You know, fine. It'll get an A. It'll get an A because it's gonna happen. At 2, we have Drake May to the Commanders. I think it's fine. I see Drake May or Jaden Daniels. One of those guys will go at 2. One of those guys will go at 3. Trust me. But if the Commanders rather Drake May, then so be it. I'll give this one an A minus. I promise. Wherever Drake May or Jaden Daniels go, as long as it's 2 or 3, they're both getting an A minus for their teams. We know what Drake May is already. We know that he's a great quarterback. How he's definitely a top. Well, he's definitely a top 6 quarterback. I think that's what we'll say. Because I could see him slip to the Giants at 6 in a scenario. Let's say the Commanders at 2 take Jaden Daniels. 3 Pats. Let's say they go ahead and take Marvin Harrison Jr. 5 Chargers, Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors, and 6 you have Drake May. So it could happen, but it's getting an A minus for me. Ooh. New England Patriots taking Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3. I mean, sure. If this is really the way the Patriots are looking to be leaning, first of all, who's our quarterback next year? Because it's not Mac Jones. I think they've made it clear that it will not be Mac Jones. Bailey Zappi, probably not. I mean, Bailey Zappi's Bailey Zappi. Could look in free agency. Guys at the top of my head, obviously Kirk Cousins being a free agent. Other than that, it's just not that strong. So, okay, could take Marvin Harrison Jr. here at 3, then maybe trade up for a quarterback later down the board. But yeah, MHJ at 3, I think. I mean, in my opinion, he's the best player in this mock draft. Or in this mock draft, no. He's the best player in this draft. So it's going to be getting an A. Reason's not getting an A+, because I think they kind of forced into the position to trade, or not trade, but to select a quarterback here at 3. Unless they're so confident that they could wait until 30 or 28 or 27 and trade up and have a guy like Bo Nix or Michael Penix be on the board. But those guys could go earlier as well. You never really know. So it's getting an A. At 4, we have the Cardinals taking Malik Neighbors. Yep, I mean, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is not on the board and they can't trade down, because I think in this mock draft he is not having any trades. With those 2 things considered, Malik Neighbors does make the most sense. Olufashanu probably as well. Maybe even Joe Alt, but I think for the Cardinals specifically, I would lean Olufashanu. I think this is a fine pick. They do need wide receiver badly. Only problem is they have Marquise Brown and Malik Neighbors on the same team who might be very similar in play styles. Instead of getting someone like Marvin Harrison Jr., who is a solidified wide receiver 1. So that's only a bit of a problem. So, I mean, there's a scenario where they might target Rome Odunze here at 4. But Neighbors is the better wide receiver. I think he's solidified as a wide receiver 2 in my book. Some scouts have him over Marvin Harrison Jr., not me, though. Neighbors at 4 to the Cardinals. It's getting the B. Yeah, it'll get a B. I think Olufashanu probably the better pick here, but if they're really set into taking wide receiver here, I guess it does make the most sense. At 5, we have the Chargers taking Joe Alt, so Brock Bowers, falling down the board a little bit. I don't mind this. Could see the Chargers take wide receiver here, especially because there's been rumors that they might try to go ahead and cut Mike Williams. Keenan Allen could be off that team within 2 years. Same thing with Josh Palmer. And Quentin Johnston. He's Quentin Johnston. So they could take wide receiver here. Rome Odunze would be the pick. But they go ahead and take Joe Alt, the best tackle in this class in my opinion. But, yeah. Brock Bowers being available kind of just moves this thing a whole lot of grade down. So instead of Joe Alt being an A pick, I'm going to slide it right into that. I'll slide it right into that B tier. I think Bowers is the better pick. He's a generational prospect. But Joe Alt's the best tackle in this class. And this team needs tackle very badly. Yeah, this team needs a couple of stuff. Interior defensive line, tackle, wide receiver, tight ends. I mean, they definitely have a plethora of options here at 5. And maybe even trading down as well. I think they could definitely look into that. At 6, we have the Giants taking Jayden Daniels. Yeah, this is definitely the pick at 6 if he does slip there. I think Jayden Daniels, in my opinion, he's QB2 in this class. So getting him at 6 is definitely huge for the Giants. This is getting an A. They do need wide receiver help. But with Rome Odunze, Olu-Fashanu, whoever you want to pick, with any of those guys still on the board, I think the pick still has to be quarterback in Jayden Daniels. You have to accept that Daniel Jones not the guy. Let's bring in a guy in Jayden Daniels who he's probably like an inch shorter than Daniel Jones, a lot more mobile, and honestly, the better passer. I'm just gonna say that. I think overall, Jayden Daniels at 6 of the Giants is gonna get an A. At 7, we have the Titans taking Olu-Fashanu. Again, kind of forced into the pick unless they were looking to draft Rome Odunze or Brock Bowers. Joe Alt already taken, so it really just makes sense. Olu-Fashanu kind of just falling right into their lap. As potential tackle 1 in this class, you can't be too mad at it. This is getting an A-. Me personally, probably would take Brock Bowers here, but I'm not mad at Olu-Fashanu at all. I could see this happen with Joe Alt on the board, so why am I mad about it if Joe Alt's off the board? It's going to get an A- from me. Best potential tackle, though, in this class, in my opinion. Fuaga is a close second, but overall, I think Olu-Fashanu takes the cake on that one. At 8, we have the Falcons taking J.J. McCarthy. I kind of had it in the back of my mind wondering where this 4th quarterback was coming in play, and here it is. I've seen recently that, McCarthy's probably going to end up being a first-round guy. If that happens, you know what, I'm not going to overreact like some fans do, saying your franchise is doomed because you took J.J. McCarthy in the 1st round. I'll just accept it for the fact that he has great NFL traits. He won a college football championship, and from what we've seen, he's had great leadership. But his arm strength looks to be good. His vision looks to be good. Overall, he's a solid quarterback, so you can't be too mad at that. But what you can be mad at is that I don't know the Falcons. I don't think they go J.J. McCarthy here at 8. This is going to be a B-. This is going to be a C+ for me. I'd rather take Dallas Turner, Rome Odunze. Those just 2 guys at the top of my head. Just don't think you take quarterback unless Jayden Daniels is on the board here at 8 for the Falcons. McCarthy's good. He could end up being a first-round guy. All signs are pointing that he might be a first-round guy. But I really don't think it should be to the Falcons here at 8. At 9, we have the Bears taking Rome Odunze. It's right into their laps. It's the perfect pick for them. They need wide receiver pretty badly. Darnell Mooney, gone. DJ Moore and Rome Odunze can be a very, very good 1-2 punch, for whatever team they end up playing against. It'll be tough guarding both of those guys. This is going to get an A from me. I think this is probably the most globally mocked pick. Odunze to the Bears. It's pretty simple. At 10, we have the Jets taking Fuaga, Talisi Fuega. Again, process of elimination. No Joe Alt, no Olu-Fashanu. This is the next guy up. Unless you, of course, want to take Brock Bowers, who's been sliding down this board. Fuaga, though, to the Jets is going to get an A from me. Did I have this in my last mock draft? I can't remember. I either had him going 10 or 13, but I did have him going pretty high. So, Fuaga to the Jets, there's been so many connections that it's going to happen that there's definitely a chance if Olu-Fashanu is available at 10 as well, that the Jets might just forego Olu-Fashanu and take Fuaga because they've been connected. So, I'm going to give this an A. I could very well see it happen in real life. And honestly, Talisi Fuega feels like a Jets player. At 11, we have the Vikings taking Dallas Turner. Yeah, I do think this is going to be I think this is the pick if he does fall. Vikings, their number one position they should target is edge, and Dallas Turner, at least from what I've seen, is looking like he's going to be edge number one that gets selected in this class. I've had them go Jared Verse, but that's only because Dallas Turner has gone 8 in most of my mock drafts. So just for that, getting Dallas Turner at 11, I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna lean off the A plus just because I still think that Jared Verse could end up being edge one. We'll see how the combine and pro day goes, but overall, it's your main position of need. Davenport, Danielle Hunter, DJ Wanham, all might not be on your team next year. You need to get a new guy in there, and Dallas Turner fits that perfectly. At 12, we have the Broncos, I believe. Indeed. He has them taking Jared Verse. Yeah, I mean, sure. They do need edge. Probably would lean defensive back with this one. Nate Wiggins, Terry Arnold, who's shot up to be my corner one. I'm pretty confident I can say that at this point. So I would rather Terry Arnold here to the Broncos. But Jared Verse is not bad. I think Jared Verse, with all things considered, will end up being a top 15 guy. I don't know if he falls past the Colts at 15. So getting him at 12, it's good value. I think it's probably perfect from where he's going to end up going. I'll give it a B plus just because I think corner might be the way to go, especially because Pat Surtain might not be on this team long term. Who knows? B plus for Jared Verse to the Broncos at 12. At 13, we have the Raiders. He has them going Terry Arnold. Kind of just popped up for me. I don't know. I tried to do a little bit of suspense there, trying to guess who it was. But Arnold to the Raiders. It's a fine pick to me. I mean, Raiders need defensive backs. They also need tackle. But Fuaga off the board. Fashanu off the board. Alt off the board. At this point, you kind of got to forget about that. Next thing up in my mind would probably be quarterback. Quarterback Jane Daniels off the board. May and Caleb Williams never were really options. So there's that. So go take cornerback. It's probably your second biggest need of position. And you're getting cornerback one, in my opinion, in Terry Arnold. I love this pick. Terry Arnold's also another guy where I've forever had him in my first round, where in like 1.0 mock drafts I've seen from other guys, didn't have him there. So I'm glad to say that I did spot the talent of Terry Arnold pretty early. To the Raiders here, is this going to be my first A+? I mean, I know A+ is coming sooner or later with Brock Bowers, whether he goes to the Saints or the Colts. So, honestly, I'll keep this at an A. It's a good pick. Yeah, it's just the right pick to make. Corner one at 13 is a pretty good steal. At 14, we have the Saints taking J.C. Latham. So, we probably do have Brock Bowers going at 15. Latham to the Saints. Yeah. Ryan Ramczyk, so uncertain of how he's going to end his career, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, whether it's the year after that. Either way, the Saints do need tackle help. So Latham does make sense. Whether Latham starts this year, next year, or the year after that, he's going to be a good player for the Saints. I think the Saints do have a really good offensive line developing system where, we've seen Teron Armstead come out of it. Cesar Ruiz, Eric McCoy, all solid offensive linemen, especially Ryan Ramczyk as well, who's arguably been the best guy. I mean, he's stuck around the longest. Him and Armstead are definitely neck and neck for that position. But, even Andrus Peat, he was a Pro Bowler at one point, if you did forget. Saints do have a good offensive line system where they're able to progress their guys. And if they're able to do it with J.C. Latham, then I think it's the good pick at 14. It's going to get a B+ from me. I like the pick to the Saints. At 15, this should be Brock Bowers. If it's not, okay, Nate Wiggins. Now, it's no secret that I've loved Nate Wiggins as a prospect basically the whole cycle. He's been my cornerback one up until this point where I've switched to Terry Arnold. But overall, Nate Wiggins, height, weight, speed, demon, freakishly long arms, 6'4". He has the whole package. That's just really all I could say. He has the whole package, so I'm not mad for him to go to the Colts at 15, especially because they do need cornerback. But I think with Brock Bowers here, has to be the pick. So it's going to get a B+, even though I love Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. One of my favorite prospects in this class, if not my favorite prospect. I mean, he might be the favorite for me, at least in this class. At 16, Seahawks taking Byron Murphy the second. Yeah, I think interior defensive line and interior offensive line should be the two things that we're looking at in this draft. Byron Murphy, Johnny Newton. I mean, on the offensive side, Troy Fautanu, and Jackson Powers Johnson. I think those are the 4 guys they should be looking at. And if you like Byron Murphy, if we're looking at interior defensive line, I probably would like Byron Murphy over Johnny Newton, at least at this point. I think it's a good pick. I think it's the fine pick. I think it's the pick that they should make. I'm gonna give an A-. Do they need interior offensive line more than interior defensive line? I'm not too sure. No, I think they should. Yeah, I think sticking with interior defensive line is the right move here. Yeah, it's just so bare there. I mean, nothing really I could say. Leonard Williams is a pending free agent. I really don't expect him to re-sign with the Seahawks. Murphy, I think, will be their number 1 or number 2 guy going into his rookie year, but definitely expect minutes from the guy who lives in the backfield in Byron Murphy II. A- to the Seahawks. At 17, Quinyon Mitchell to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, same thing, or not same thing with Jags, but offensive line, whether it's interior or exterior, tackle or guard, and corner. I think those are the 2 things that they could use. Also, wide receiver, if they decide to move on from Calvin Ridley, because if they keep Calvin Ridley, they lose their second-round pick. If they get rid of him, they have their second-round pick. And at this point, is Calvin Ridley worth the second-round pick? I don't know. I mean, second-round pick might be a little bit more valuable right now. But overall, yeah, they could wide receiver, corner, and their whole offensive line, basically. Quinyon Mitchell, though, another guy where I've kind of spotted it since the beginning of the cycle. Had him as a first-round guy, and I think my 1.0 or 2.0 mock draft. And ever since then, he's just really climbed up the boards for me. Right now, I think he's a pretty solidified top 20 guy. Quinyon Mitchell is. I'm going to give it an A to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have him over Enix Rakestraw. I have him over Cooper DeJean. I have him over Kool-Aid McKinstry. All your favorite corners, I have him over them. Except Nate Wiggins and Terry Arnold. At 18, we have the Bengals taking Brock Bowers. First of all, I see no scenario where Doug Peterson skips on Brock Bowers. I don't care they have Evan Ingram. Brock Bowers and Evan Ingram can work together. I mean, if they have to, they're going to be able to do it. So, I mean, yeah, seeing him not go at 17 and maybe even 18, I don't know. So 18, Brock Bowers to the Bengals. It has to be A+. I mean, getting Joe Burrow, another weapon like this, would be insanity. Yeah, Brock, I'm lost for words here. Brock Bowers is an A+ easily to the Bengals. At 19, we have Jackson Powers Johnson to the Rams. Haven't really seen Rams take interior offensive line so far this cycle. I mean, it's really been corner, edge, and tackle. But I guess interior offensive line could potentially make sense. In my opinion, Powers Johnson is the best center in this class. Zach Frazier probably slides into number 2. Yeah, overall, don't know if the Rams' number 1 target should be interior offensive line. But if Jackson Powers Johnson is the guy, I don't mind it. I'll give it a B. Love the player. I think he'll end up going somewhere between 16 and 21. Just don't know if the Rams are the best fit for him. I'd like to see him to the Dolphins or to the Seahawks, possibly. At 20, we have the Steelers taking Troy Fautanu. Has him listed as a tackle. Could slide into guard. We'll see. I mean, he'll be fine at either, in my opinion. But to the Steelers at 20, I think it's a cool pick. Tackle, corner, whatever they need. I mean, it's going to be between one of those positions, I think, at the end of the day. Overall, for the Steelers here at 20, it's good value. Like I said before, could switch into guard if you need to, or he could stay out of tackle. Fautanu, at least for me, has probably fell down boards a tad bit. I did push him up a little bit higher to begin the draft cycle. I think I might have had him as high as 13 at one point. But I think the good place to have him is somewhere between 16 and 24. Fautanu's a great player. I mean, he was on the college football. I mean, who even votes on that type of stuff? Whoever decided who was the best offensive line in the country, he's the best player on that offensive line. So it does make sense. Him and Kingsley Suamataia. Oh no, what am I talking about? Suamataia is on BYU. That was just, I don't know what I was even talking about right there. But Fautanu at 20, it's a good pick for the Steelers. At 21, Laiatu Latu to the Dolphins. They definitely need more depth at the edge position. They had to bring in some veterans at the end of the season because guys like Jalen Phillips got injured towards Achilles, I believe, near the end of the season. So, I mean, getting another injury-prone guy, is that too smart? Not so sure. I think interior offensive line probably should be the move here. Or maybe even another wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr. But I don't mind Laiatu Latu to them. I mean, getting another injury-prone guy to step in, when we're trying to, get more of a secure edge set there, because Jalen Phillips pretty injury-prone. Laiatu Latu had to retire at one point, and Bradley Chubb also a guy who gets injured at pretty good pace. So, it's not a bad pick, because Laiatu Latu, arguably, if everything goes right at the combine, passes physical completely, does great at the combine. We know he's going to be. We've seen his on-field play, so we know he's a good tackle. If he tests well, I think Laiatu Latu could end up being edge one in this class. Like, legitimately, I could see him go 8 in this class. So 21, Laiatu Latu to the Dolphins. I'll give it a B+. At 22, we have the Eagles taking Ennis Rakestraw Jr. I mean, someone's always saying that, or someone in my comment section always saying that the Eagles don't need corner. I mean, you got the number one guy in the business, Daniel Jeremiah, saying that they do need corner. So, I don't know about that one. But Ennis Rakestraw, I think he's definitely put himself in a position where he is a first-round talent for me. I think I had him go 29 to the Lions in my last mock draft. I think 22 is also fine. I think he's definitely a first-round guy, though. Showed Ennis Rakestraw love a little bit too late, or a little bit later in this draft cycle, but better late than never, most I could say. Rakestraw 22 to the Eagles. I'll give it a B+. Probably would rather Kool-Aid McKinstry here. Maybe even Cooper DeJean, but I think McKinstry would probably be the better fit for the Eagles here at 22. Because what is really Cooper DeJean going to be doing in that Vic Fangio defense? Because Vic Fangio definitely more of an old school styled defensive coordinator. So how freely is he going to allow Cooper DeJean to roam in that defense? I don't know. I mean, we'll see if it happens. But Ennis Rakestraw decided to go. It's not bad. I'm giving it a B+. At 23, it's Brian Thomas Jr. Some people don't like wide receiver to the Texans. In my opinion, that's a bad take. Tank Dell will not be available to start next season. You obviously have Nico Collins, who's your number one. Xavier Hutchinson will be a good rotational guy you could put in sometimes. Noah Brown, good, but at the end of the day, he's not great. He had a good couple of weeks last year. But Brian Thomas Jr., or a good couple of games, but Brian Thomas Jr., it really gets you a kind of secure wide receiver 2 or 3. A trio of Collins, Dell, and Brian Thomas Jr. would be elite. I mean, for years to come. Are you serious? First of all, you have CJ Stroud. Second of all, you have those 3 superhumans. I mean, I think that is an amazing pick for the Texans here at 23. It's going to get an A-. I mean, I'm speaking myself into it. It's going to get an A for me. I love Brian Thomas Jr. to the Texans. I love him as a player. Some people think he could end up dropping to the second round. I just don't see it. I mean, 6'4", extreme speed, and can high point the ball as well. Overall, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a great NFL player if all things pan out, because we have seen players like him not do amazing. But Brian Thomas Jr., I think he has what it takes to be. At 24, we have the Cowboys taking Tyler Guyton. Yeah, I mean, earlier I had Tyler Guyton as a top 20 guy. He's probably slipped down to mid-20s, and I think to the Cowboys is a pretty good fit. Don't know if the Cowboys need tackles so badly. Tyron Smith headed to free agency. I mean, it's just so hard to imagine Tyron Smith being on any team that's not the Cowboys. I mean, it's just hard to imagine. But who knows? Maybe it happens, and maybe you could slide a developmental guy in there like Tyler Guyton, maybe year 1 or year 2. We'll see. Also, Tyron Smith's like 34, 35, so it's time to make a move sooner or later. But yeah, developmental guy in Tyler Guyton. He should end up. When will he end up starting for this Cowboys team? think year 2 or year 3. That year 1 would be crazy. I just don't see it. Year 2, year 3 though, I think is definitely where he should aim. I think it's an okay pick. I don't know if tackle is the best position to go here. Maybe guard. I'd rather. Couple of guys here. Graham Barton maybe. Could also look at wide receiver. A.D. Mitchell's available. You know, we'll see some guys like that. But you never know. At 25, we have the Packers taking Cooper DeJean. I'm going to give us an A+. I mean, Cooper DeJean, in my opinion, is overall probably a top 15 player in this draft class. So first of all, getting a top 15 guy at 25 is nothing short of incredible. But also, with his versatility, safety, corner, boundary, nickel, slot, everything. I mean, he's really able to do everything on the field. Return kicks, punts, maybe he can even play wide receiver. Who knows? Cooper DeJean is that guy. He's a white corner, so obviously doesn't really fit the stereotype of what corners should look like in the league. But, you know, who's the white corner that's there right now? Is it Troy Apke? He plays more safety, though, in my opinion. I think Cooper DeJean will come in right away and be a great NFL player and kind of destroy that narrative. Yeah, Cooper DeJean's going to be elite when he comes into the league. At 26, we have the Buccaneers. At 26, we have A.D. Mitchell to the Buccaneers. Adonai Mitchell. I think it's cool. The Buccaneers could go in a lot of different spots here at 26. Edge, interior defensive line, offensive line, tackle, interior offensive line. I mean, cornerback, and really could go a lot of spaces here, especially if they could also look at safety maybe. Cameron Kitchens, Tyler Nubin, just two guys off the top of my head that I could see go to the Buccaneers at 26. A.D. Mitchell, though, I like the pick. Is Mike Evans leaving? Maybe. We'll see. See if he's a Chief by next year. But A.D. Mitchell, I like the pick. I think he'll be a great replacement for Mike Evans when his time does end, because at the end of the day, he's not going to play forever, even though it's kind of felt like he's been elite forever, because he's had a 1,000-yard season every single year in his career, which is insane. Hopefully A.D. Mitchell can bring that same type of production. Most likely not, but you never really know. Who knows? It's going to give a B+, though, at 26. At 27, we have Darius Robinson to the Cardinals. Chop Robinson still available. Braylon Trice still available. Chris Braswell still available. I mean, I'm probably taking Chop Robinson and Braylon Trice over Darius Robinson. Maybe Braswell as well, but Braswell as well. Okay, maybe him as well, but you never know. I'll give it a B-. First of all, Darius Robinson, in my opinion, projects to be more of an interior defensive lineman. That's first of all. Second of all, Trice and Robinson still on the board. Those would be the guys I would pick ahead of Darius Robinson. No, Trice and Chop Robinson ahead of Darius Robinson, if that makes sense. B+ or B- though for the Cardinals at 27. At 28, we have the Bills taking Chop Robinson. I think wide receiver probably should be the pick here. I mean, you could make the argument that a lot of these guys are coming off the board, but Keon Coleman, I mean, he slipped out of some mock drafts, first-round mock drafts at least. But at 28, especially with A.D. Mitchell and Brian Thomas Jr. off the board, I think it will be a pretty good fit to the Bills. Don't mind Chop Robinson, though, as you can see. Contract expiring for Floyd Espinoza, and pairing Robinson with Greg Rousseau, especially if Chop Robinson ends up projecting to the great edge we know that he can be. That'd be dangerous, him and Gregory Rousseau. So to the Bills at 28, I'm gonna give it a B, just because I would rather them take wide receiver and Keon Coleman here. But honestly, you know, it's a fine pick. I think Keon Coleman has to be the pick though at 28. I'd be kind of crazy if the Bills don't take wide receiver in this first 2 rounds. I mean, they could take it in the second round, but first round I think there has to be wide receiver. At 29, we have the Lions taking Zach Frazier. Mentioned him earlier, interior offensive lineman. Like DJ says, feels like a Dan Campbell type of player. Yeah, he's definitely a bruiser. I mean, even DJ says again, state champion wrestler in high school. Frazier is, I mean, he's kind of just like a big guy. I mean, not so much I could say about him. I mean, he's just a big bruiser guy. Second best center in this class behind Jackson Powers Johnson, but could also slide into guard as well. You never really know, especially with how versatile this offensive lineman class. You know, most of these tackles can be guards. Most of these guards can be centers. Even some of these tackles could be centers. You never really, I mean, I keep saying it, but you never really know. especially when we get into the NFL, where a lot of these players on the offensive line changing where they played in college. Frazier to the Lions, I'll give it a B. At 30, we have Amarius Mims to the Baltimore Ravens. It's good value. I mean, earlier we saw Mims as high as, 14 to the Saints? And now he's at 30 to the Ravens. I think I'll give it B+ for value, but other than that, it's not so crazy of a, it's not so crazy. I mean, the position is definitely not something I would consider them drafting so high. But I guess, yeah, fell into their laps here at 30, so it's not a bad pick. I'll give it a B+. At 31, we have the 49ers taking Graham Barton. I've seen a lot of drafts having Graham Barton out of the first round, where I think that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, we've seen him go as high as like 20 in some mock drafts in a couple weeks past, and now he's considered out of the first round. I mean, nothing has passed since then. No games, no anything. So why are we just dropping him out for no reason? I'm not sure. So I do have Graham Barton in my first round. It's cool to see that DJ does as well. So Graham Barton to the 49ers, a team who is in pretty desperate need of offensive line. They're aging, and overall they probably just need some new faces in there as well. So Graham Barton to the 49ers at 31. I'll give it a B+. I like the value, and I like the player, and I like the fit, honestly, as well, to the 49ers at 31. At 32, this should be wide receiver, and it is. We have Troy Franklin to the Chiefs. Sure, I mean, getting another speedy guy there for Patrick Mahomes to throw the ball to. Keon Coleman being here, though, kind of makes me feel a little iffy about this pick. I know I did have Troy Franklin in my mock draft, but I think right now, I would lean Keon Coleman over him, especially to the Chiefs at 32. Maybe to another team, I would lean Troy Franklin, but to the Chiefs, probably would go Keon Coleman. Fit-wise, it's fine. I mean, just getting another speed guy in general, I mean, it's what the Chiefs do. Has it worked out in the past? Mecole Hardman. Yeah, I mean, we could say that. Kadarius Toney. No, I mean, no, it's definitely a no. MVS, not really. Tyreek Hill, obviously. Sky Moore, not really. I mean, not been amazing. And then Rashee Rice, who's more than just a speed guy. He's their wide receiver 1. Thanks for watching this video. Troy Franklin will give it a B, though. Thanks for watching this video. I think DJ did a pretty good job on this mock draft. But yeah, anytime DJ drops a mock draft, promise I'll be reacting to it. Overall, it's a great mock draft. Anything DJ does, honestly, that's probably some things I should take notes of, because he is the #1 analyst for mock drafts, or for NFL draft in general. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description, click the Google Forms link, submit your video ideas, because most likely I will do it unless it's a dumb idea. Be for real. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time. Peace.